Okay, I just wanted to share with everyone who flies from anywhere to Taiwan that my experience taking China Airlines from San Francisco SFO to Taiwan a few days ago. What happened was that I misread the time, the departure time, so I got there about 65 minutes early before departure time, and that was around midnight when I got to the aisle, and the departure time was 1:05 a.m. And so I got there, and there was absolutely nobody there. There was just like, and I could tell that they had been gone for a long time. It wasn't like they just left or something. So, of course, I should have gotten there early. That's on me. But I misread the time, and I only got there an hour early. Okay. Now, the official time that China Airlines is supposed to stop their counter service is 60 minutes before the departure time, which would be 12:05 a.m., right? So they basically left early, and honestly, I think that they do that all the time if there's not that many passengers left. So I had to go through security with all my check-in luggage, and then when I did that, TSA took away a lot of my liquids, which cost me around $90 US. So I was pretty upset about that. And then when I got to the gate, they're like, "Oh, we closed the gate already." I got to the gate like at 12, no later than 12:30. So I was 35 minutes early, and then they closed already, which the gate's supposed to close 20 minutes before departure. So they're just basically like doing everything early because there weren't that many people on the plane, right? So, and then when I got to Taipei, I told the ticket service at Nanjing East Road, right, that what happened, and I wrote a report, but at first they didn't really want to deal with the situation. They're just like going, "Oh, the counter closes 90 minutes before departure, so you're kind of like, SOL, just like sorry." But then they looked it up on the website, and it's actually 60 minutes. So what I'm saying is, like, China Airlines sort of has this like culture where they don't really want to deal with these issues. They don't really want to admit that they've done anything wrong, because when I got to the gate, I told them, "Why did you close?" I asked them, "Why did you close the counter early?" And they didn't say anything. They're just going, "Okay, you can get on the plane." And then when I got to Taipei, they don't want to deal with it, right? So finally, the supervisor at Nanjing East Road dealt with it nicely. She took my whole report. I wrote a letter and everything, and then I get an email back like a week later, like a few days later, and they're like going, "Oh, San Francisco said they closed their counter service at 1:05 a.m. Okay, and you weren't there. You didn't get to the gate until they closed their counter at 12:05 a.m. That's what they claimed, and you didn't get to the gate until like 12:15. So actually, I got to the gate later. I got to the gate like 12:25 to 12:30. So basically, they made a false claim. San Francisco, China Airlines made a false claim. They did not tell the truth, right, to cover for themselves probably. And China Airlines in Taiwan just takes it as fact. They just don't care. And then I showed them the Uber, right, the Uber receipt finally, and they said, "Oh, well, this says you arrived at 12:06 a.m., so that's too late." And I was like, anyone who takes Uber will know that they delay their arrival time by like around 10 minutes because they want to give you time to tip their drivers. So they don't give you the receipt with the correct time as soon as you get out of the car. They wait around 10 minutes so that you have time to tip them. And I gave them that explanation, but they just don't care because their whole goal is to not help you, right? They don't care if you got screwed over by the behavior in San Francisco by China Airlines staff. It's just like the entire airline has this culture of like not wanting to, help their customers with this sort of thing. And I think that this is like a message to other, flyers, passengers, that this airline just like really just does not care. And you can take it if you like. I've been a gold card member for over 10 years, but I don't really want to continue with this kind of disrespect. It's not even about being compensated anymore. It's just like when you're constantly being disrespected by an airline, you just don't really want to be there any longer. So anyway, that's it. Thank you.